Rapper and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been moved to a federal prison in New Jersey. That's according to insiders. He's serving just over 4 years after being convicted of transporting women for prostitution. He had asked to serve his time at Fort Dix. That's a low security facility with a drug treatment program, and it was closer to his family. He has already spent 13 months in custody, which does count toward his sentence. His expected release date is in May of 2028.
Diddy Combs
breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Check it out. Sean Diddy Combs has been transferred to Fort Dix where he requested. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to explain to you how this whole thing is going to play out so you understand how this is, what he's going to go through from the bus ride to intake to R&D to being pressed, everything. All right. All right, so we on, man. This is what it is. If anybody got that invitation code for the Sora, please send it to the number on the screen. All right, now let's get on to this. Diddy is going to intake, so he's being moved from MDC Brooklyn right now, and he's in Fort Dix as of 4:30 on Thursday. Today is Friday. Sit back. This is what it looks like in intake. We're going to play this out for you so you understand. Then I'm going to break it down about the different scenarios and things that he may have to go through.
Today, Chaz White and 15 other inmates are making the hour-long journey to Ross Correctional.
Now, this is him going to Ross Correction, right? But this is how it is when you got to go on that bus and you're riding up the road, right? You're riding up the turnpike, and this is how you're looking out the window, and you know that this is going to be your life, you know, for whatever time they want you there. When you go into this gate and you come off this bus, right? Now, as Diddy's coming off this bus, he's going to sit there. His heart is going to be pounding. He don't know what to expect. The police and guards, they're going to be all in his face. They're going to be letting him know this is our joint. We don't care how much money you got. I don't care what you do. We want you to understand that we run this. If you don't know that we run this, we're going to have to show you and make you a believer that we run this. So now he comes off the bus, right? Now, as he comes off the bus, he's looking around. The police ask him his name. He give him his name and his new inmate ID number. He sits in the holding pen. Now he's in the holding pen with other people. The police calls him out. When he called him out, he give him a strip search, right? The strip search. Now, that's the most degrading thing that they could do is that strip search, right? Because that strip search, they make you, you know, pick your lips up, make sure you ain't got nothing in your mouth, stick your tongue out, you know what I mean? You pick your arms up, you turn around, and then they tell you to bend over and spread your cheeks. Now, imagine standing there, and that's why dudes act like they the toughest, right? Imagine standing there and they tell you to put your hands behind your back, grab your cheeks, and spread them apart while there's another man that you don't know if he's a he cipher, monkey cipher, or what. He's sitting there looking up in your rectum. That's what you youngins want? This is prison. That's what Diddy have to go through anytime he has to strip out that uniform to go on a visit, to get transferred, anything. You got to bend over and you got to spread your cheeks, and then they can have random joints, right? Let's ride. There might be a crazy police out there, right? And he's just a cold freak. Nobody knows he's a freak. But all he does is look for the most, you know, buffed inmates that look like they working out. Dude come back from the yard working out. He's trying to go in and go shower. And this police pulls him off the line and say, come with me to the holding tank. I want to do a random strip search. Now, he takes him in there, dude all sweating, and he bend over and he pulling his cheeks apart while this man is looking, and he's going, you know, and dude look back like, huh? And he's sitting there smiling. And you're like, whoa, and there's nothing you could do, because if you take off on him, you're getting a new shot, you're running your time up. So this is what we all had to go through, yes, including me, Unique Mecca Audio. Keeping it 100 for 26 years. So if that's what you want to go through. Now they sit there and they looking and see, right? Because we riding, right? I know dudes, right? It was mainly white dudes. They used to take hacksaw blades and they wrap it up in toilet paper, and then they put it in the glove of a finger, like you know those white gloves that you serve the food with when you go to a smorgasbord in the restaurant. You take that and they put the hacksaw blade wrapped up in the toilet paper and they push it up in their rectum. And then they walk around and they go get on the bus and go through the R&D, get on the plane, they do all of that. Now, when they do all that, they got this hacksaw blade in them, and sometimes they put a handcuff key. Like, they might make some handcuff keys or get a handcuff key, and they'll wrap it up and they'll boof it. That's what they call it, boofing it, right? So they boof the handcuff key, and when they boof the handcuff key, they move it around, they get somewhere, and then that's how they take their cuffs off. And some dudes know how to take the cuffs off with nothing. I don't know how they do it. You know what I mean? But I think they be having a little paper clip or something. But whatever, they know how to take their thing off, but that's for boofing. So with the hacksaw blade, everybody's wondering, what they gonna do with a hacksaw blade? Well, what they gonna do with a hacksaw blade is when they get somewhere, they're gonna sit there and take their time, because they're gonna have plenty of time in that cell to try and cut the bars to try and get out. That's what they do. I met a few dudes while I was in ADX that was escape artists. And when they telling me about this hacksaw blade trick, I'm like, man, they ain't never found it. And then after a while, then they wound up getting what they call, the X-ray chair. So they got a chair in the prison now. It started off in Oklahoma, right? They got a chair in the prison where you sit on this chair and a metal detector, and it detects if you have metal in your body. You know? So that's how they started finding the hacksaw blades and the keys to cover that. They figured out how to do everything. So it ain't no ratting and no telling for you rat bastards and flip-flop wearing and public trolls. They just look for something to talk about, right? Matter of fact, take some more gunshots. You know, take some more gunshots. You know what I mean? I can't stand them. But check it out, right? So this is what it is, right? So this is intake. This is what Diddy had to go through. You want to know what Diddy had to go through? Well, this is it right here in real life details. Now, see? Now, he put his arms up. He picked his nutsack. You know, they didn't want to show him bending over, spreading the cheeks. Now he's walking into the day room. Now, this is the laundry room. Now, this is the laundry room, right? And let me explain something to you about the laundry room, right? The laundry room is a type of place where everybody, where they know everybody's business. You know what I mean? They know everybody's business, right? We're going to take it back to the intake part, because we're going to wind up to the laundry. The laundry people, they get a list just like that clipboard he had, right? And they got everybody's name, and they got the last three numbers where they're coming from. And from them last three numbers where they're coming from, they know when you get to the laundry room, they tell everybody, like the shot callers, you know, from that car. See, now he's heading to the laundry room, right? So this the laundry room. So when he comes in, the inmates in the orange that's there, those are the ones that already working there. So they already have the list. See, he got his hands in his pocket looking all innocent. So now, if it's somebody that's hot, they already sent their name and their number out to let them know, yo, this is who's coming from your car. So you might get a list of 5, 10 people that's coming from your last three numbers, which is like your area code. So now you're responsible for them. If they come on the compound and they are rat bastards, you know, now, if you allow them to stay, then your car look like you're all a bunch of rat bastards, you know? And then you become prey on the compound. But now Diddy's coming in. Now, when Diddy come in, they already know he's coming, so everybody's all excited, it's quiet, and everybody's looking out their window. They trying to see what it look like right now, right? So now you come in, and they give you your laundry, right? They're going to put a little, they make a name tag that they put on you. Matter of fact, let's just show the joint. You know? So now you come in, right? They measure you up. They do all that. See, they measure him up, get his waist. That's his clothes he getting ready to wear. And, you know, then they sit down, they talk to you for intake. And there goes the name tags, right? So that's the name tag. So he's going to have his joint that's going to say Combs. And then whatever number and the last three numbers is going to be 054. Because 054 stands for New York City. So do you understand that? All right. Now, so that's how they put it on. They iron them on the clothes, and, you know, there you go. They iron them on, and that's how everybody get to do it. Now you get a jacket. Your jacket even got that on it, because when it gets cold, you get an ID card. So that's the ID, and this is him now heading to the dormitory. Now, when you're heading to the dormitory and you're walking, every inmate is looking out the window. If they're in the yard, they watching on the fence. They want to see who's who. If they're in the yard, they're going, yo, where you from, homie? You know what I mean? Yo, they might say, yo, anybody from Kentucky? You know, anybody from the South? You know, all right, well, we over here. What unit you going to? Oh, you going to such and such unit? All right, well, you go in there and you ask for such and such. And they go in there and there's a unit representative for every car in the unit. So when he come in, it's his responsibility to find him a bed to sleep in. It's not the police responsibility. You know what I mean? The police gonna assign you to a cell, but now your homies will find a cell or a bed. You know, because he going to like a dormitory. Nah, matter of fact, they might be like that. If it's a dormitory setting, you know what I mean? They'll say like, nah, move over here by me, and it's gonna be people they know, and everybody gonna be all on him, trying to, you know, think when he get out, he gonna do something and all that. Because let me speak on something, right? I feel like riding. Did anybody see the whole Diddy proceeding, how the brother Chalucci, you know, Chalucci Finney, I think his last name is, but that's my man. I grew up with him, right? Now, Chalucci Finney, the way he held Diddy down in trial for that whole proceeding, I've never seen, and I'm gonna say it, I've never seen another man hold another man down like that while he's going to trial. If you did, you put it in the comments. I've never seen it. All right, just so you understand. But the way he held them down, that's how, you know, the females hold dudes down, because the females have a deeper degree of love and loyalty than men do, because we still have that selfish, competitive bone in us. So even though our man gone, we you know, we don't want him to be gone, you know, but it's like, now it's more money for me, you know, but if he need anything, I got him. You know, but the females, they're going to take the phone calls every day, all day, throughout the day. They're going to go visit them. They're going to write them letters. They're going to send them postcards. The homies ain't doing none of that. I watched Chalucci Finney hold Diddy down. But the thing and the reason why I bring this up, right, is because 9 times out of 10, when a female holds down a dude when he's doing time, when the dude come out, he forget everything that female has done for him and will get with another woman. Do y'all agree to that or not? Put it in the comments. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, if you want to call and tell me your prison story and come up here, I'm going to start doing prison story interviews. But if you want to come up here, you call that number. But you know what I'm saying as far as when a female do a bid with a inmate, 9 times out of 10, that inmate come home and get with another, you know, woman. Now, I say this to say, and this is no monkey cipher meant, and no pun intended, and pause and all that. Now, do you think when Diddy come home, he's going to forget everything that Chalucci Finney did for him? Put that in the comments. Do you think there's a 9 out of 10 chances that Diddy will forget about everything that this man did for him? How would you feel? Put this in the comments too, right? Let's get the comment thing up there, right? Put this in the comments. How would you feel, right? How would you feel if Diddy came home and, you know, and just shitted on dude? Don't even mess with him no more. Remember, he's the one that ran around with the free puff shirts. How many of y'all was wearing the free puff shirts during the storm that Puffy went through? I got video footage. One of my biggest videos that I did on my Instagram. You go check me out over there, Unique Mecca Audio at Instagram. I did a joint where I was riding in the convertible, and I was telling about how my man from Philly came to see me, and he was wearing flip-flops. Could you believe it? Right, let me tell you all this, right? All right, we're going to ride. We're going to tell you this, right? Because we just all over the place. Now, my man calls me and said, yo, you know, I got a homie up there, look out for him. You know what I mean? I said, I'm over at the Rucker. He said, all right, he's going to be at the Rucker. So I go over to the Rucker. I walk over to this fly-ass European joint, and dude gets out the car, and he's wearing a pair of flip-flops. I said, yo, dog, you know, where you going with flip-flops? We're on 8th Avenue. We don't wear flip-flops on 8th Avenue. It could be, you know, gunshots at any time. So we don't do flip-flops in public. And you got a girl with you. How you going to protect your girl? You know what I mean? He said, oh, I'm going to kick him off. I said, dog, you got on socks. You can't even grip the ground. Stop the games. You wearing flip-flops with socks and you're all the way in New York City. Come on, dog. Where we do that at? You know? But, you know, I say that to say that it's crazy how people get, you know, confused and they start putting their guards down, you know? And that's where Diddy's at. He can't put his guards down. And we talking about Chalucci Finney holding him down and a female holding the dude down, and how 9 times out of 10 the dude don't come home and be with the female. And if you think Diddy will be there for Chaluchi Finney, who held them down during the storm. But anyway, I wore my free puffy shirt in that video when I'm driving in the joint, right? And I wore another one night when I took some pictures. I think it was with SNS and DJ Knuckles. Big shout out to SNS and DJ Knuckles. Oh yeah, and one of the homies got a party too. He been sending me the joint. You know, I got relax, y'all, relax. Damn, relax, man. Why are we doing this, right? So this is where we at, right? Let's get back to this, man. Let's get back to this. All right, let's get back to the video. So now we got Diddy sitting there. So now this is what could happen. Now you go in there, right? You first go in the joint, and now dudes know you got the bag, right? So you got somebody that might just roll up in there and punch you in the face, you know what I mean? And tell you, yo, you're gonna look out for me and my people, man. You know what I mean? If you ain't looking out for them, you know, you can't stay here. And this is what happened when you buck the system. You know, not saying this is going to happen to Diddy, but this is what can happen to Diddy. You go in there and you think everything is good, and you put your stuff down, you in your cell, and then all of a sudden, a dude roll up in the cell and he tell you, yo, and he got a knife in his hand. He tell you, yo, listen, you know, I need 5,000 sent to this address. What are you going to do? Put that in the comments. All right, what are you going to do? Make sure y'all hit that like button, man, and make sure y'all follow follow my daughter at Unique Mecca Audio and Real Boss TTTV. But this is how it is. They punish you, and then now here come the police taking you, and you walking across the compound, right? This is how they handcuff you and all that, right? Let me tell you one about that. Hold up. I'm going to tell you when they show them. But see, now they locking them up. And this is how they lock the doors, right? We're going to get back to that. They lock everybody in order to move them. See, they moving him out the cell because he got messed up. So, you know, God forbid, let's say Diddy go there, dude, put the press move on him and go home and just bust them all in his joint because he don't want to pay, you know, the soft press dudes, you know? But that's not even soft press, because, you know, soft press is when you make him offer it, you know what I mean? And then again, that's also called self-press, you know? But then the hard press is like he did in the scenario I gave where you roll in and, you know, you just bust him in the mouth, you know what I mean? And put the knife to his throat and say, send 5,000 here, and that's what it is. Now, so now he's getting ready to go to the shoe, but before he go to the shoe, they got to lock everybody in their cell. And that's what they just showed, right? Because they can't walk him through there with handcuffs on while the other inmates is not having handcuffs, because they will jump on you. And when they jump on you, then it's a lawsuit for them. So that's why they stopped that, right? So let's keep it moving. So now he putting on his stuff. He get ready to leave, right? Look at all the blood there. This way bust him in the mouth. This is a little blood. Look at his face, right? So that's how he bust him in his face. Say, yo, I want that bag. You know what I mean? I want that 5,000 there by the time you get it. If you don't send that 5,000, this is what it is. Is this what y'all would like to see happen to Diddy? Y'all put it in the comments, man. You know, y'all put it in the comments. And if you don't want it to happen to Diddy, put the prayer hands. You know, put the prayer hands you don't want to happen. If you want it to happen, you give me the emoji. You know that little emoji? I like that emoji. Where he at? I like that emoji. If that's what you want to happen. Y'all put in the comments, let's keep this thing moving. So now, I'm going to tell you one, right? You see the way this dude is sitting here, right? It was a dude when I got up to Raybrook. I'm going to tell you all a prison story with this. So go to Unique Mecca Audio Prison Stories and, you know, check out more prison stories, right? But I get up to Raybrook, and when I get to Raybrook, it had doors in the side. Okay, it was a dorm here, and then it's a hallway here, and it has the washing machine, the dryer, the microwave, the ice machine in that hallway. And then it's another door over here that leads to another dormitory, right? But it's cell blocks, but I'm saying dormitory. So now they got that in there, and the east side is not supposed to go over to the west side, right? But me, I just get there, and the homies come get me from the other side, and I'm over there, and I get caught over there, and I'm trying to use the phone over there, but I was on phone restriction, right? So the call didn't go through. So then now they call me in the little counselor office, and I meet the counselor, and the counselor said, what the hell was you doing over there? You know you don't belong over there. And I said, you know, but the way he was talking to me all serious, I started laughing hysterically, like, yo, you serious? And he's like, who you laughing at? I'm talking real serious to you right now. You're not allowed to be on the other side. I can lock your black ass up. And I looked at him. I said, yo, you crazy as hell. I know you're not serious. I said, if the door's open, I'm going to go on either side of this jail. If you don't want me in a door in this prison, don't open it. If I see the door open, I'm going through it. So he looked at me, he said, man, I already could see they're going to be, you know, walking you across this compound in the snow with your hands behind your back. Hey, you know, this is what the dude is telling me, right? So I'm looking at him and I said, man, whatever, you know? And then sure enough, you know, they put me on this little, they put me on what they call a 2-hour watch. If y'all want to know what a 2-hour watch is in the prison, put it in the comments. If you want to know what a 2-hour watch is, you know, put that in the comments, right? But I ain't gonna get into that. Let me get back to Diddy. So now, dude, let's say this is Diddy. They walk across the compound, he got busted in his mouth. Now he got a big decision to make. Now he got to think, damn, do I pay that $5,000 or do I go out and go get me a knife and go put it in him? Or do I go out and hire somebody to get a knife and put it in him? See, these are the dilemmas that Diddy's gonna have. What do you think Diddy's gonna choose? Put it in the comment. Which one of those do you think Diddy's gonna choose? You think he's gonna go handle it himself? You think he's gonna hire somebody to do it? You know what I mean? And I don't remember what the other one is. You remember what the other one is. Is he gonna hire? Is he gonna pay somebody to do it? He gonna do it. You know what I mean? Or he just gonna pay the money? You know, what do you think he gonna do? Put it in the comments. But that's how they walk you over there to the joint, man, which is real crazy because dude told me they was gonna walk me across the compound like this. And sure enough, it was snowing. It was a big snowstorm. I'm walking across the compound like this, man, the snow coming down. And they had me by my hands and they put them all the way up to my neck where my face was down between my legs. You know what I mean? And I couldn't even believe it. My face was down between my legs the whole time that I'm sitting there doing it. But he was right. That's exactly what happened. They marched me across the compound. It was in the snow. I was more embarrassed than you could ever imagine. But at the same time, I was like, man, F it. At least I'm getting up out of this joint. You know what I mean? But no, they put me back on the compound. And then now when they put me back on the compound, now they put me on the 2-hour watch. If you want to know what the 2-hour watch is, put it in the joint. But like I said, Diddy was sentenced to, 50 months. He got a release date of May 8th, 27, what that's 20, I don't know what the hell it is, but you know what it is. He got a release date coming up, right? So now when it's time for him to get released, you know, are y'all gonna forgive him or not forgive him? Where you gonna go with that? But anyway, I've been on here long enough. All right.
Cheers, cheers, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Can of 26, yeah. He back on the strip, getting back in the mix. Yeah. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in hall. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube you could go and visit. Yeah. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, mega audio.